Hello and welcome to Match Fishing TV, and joining me in the studio to talk about this week's action I've got, as usual, Tom Scully.
Hello.
And Matt Godfrey.
Good evening.
Who've both been busy with the Bait Tech Canal Champs.
We have. It was quite a tricky match yesterday actually on the Stany, and as Sods always have it was also our biggest turnout of the year. We had 41 anglers turn up yesterday. And the result was, believe it or not when I say this, but a little bit surprising, because poor old Alan Scofield, who actually won the match, has been having a torrid time on the canal this year, hasn't he?
He's been playing backseat to his lad, hasn't he?
He has, bless him, but he's come good this year. It's like you say, he always seems to win one, doesn't he?
I think Roger summed it up when we were talking about it before. He says, lures you into thinking he's not got it, and then he just doubles everyone else virtually, doesn't he? That's what he's like.
He's done that. That's his nasty streak coming out. Yeah.
But he drew peg 170, which is a decent area when it goes cold. He's actually caught quite a lot of bream and skimmers for his weight. He's weighed 21.4 £4. I'm led to believe he hasn't actually fed any bloodworm and joker. He's actually caught feeding maggots and casters in soil.
Big fish baits,
yeah. And he won the match. Second was Cameron Hughes. He had a weight of 13.5 £. He was actually next door to Alan on peg 169. And in third place was Scottish international James Woodrow, who had £11.2. Now, I'm really pleased for James for two reasons. Firstly, because him and his Scottish friends have been travelling down for every one of these matches.
Yeah, they've been doing some miles, haven't they?
Oh, just a bit. It's brilliant to see him come down, isn't it?
It is. It's great to see him do well. But also because he actually caught a chub, James Woodrow. Now, when we first went on the Stany 5-6 years ago, we'd see quite a few chub caught, didn't we? But the last couple of years, we haven't seen any.
Conspicuous by their absence, I think.
Definitely.
Yes, and he's nailed one. So the qualifiers were Alan Scawthorne, Cameron Hughes, Cameron Cross, Nathan Hughes, Ian Leach, James Dornham and Sean Wright. And there is one other qualifier I've just got to make mention of. How would you feel, Rog? Would you feel lucky if you drew a section where every single person in that section had already qualified for the final?
Did he do whoever this was, he or she, did they do the lottery at the weekend as well?
Well, they blooming need to this weekend,
they need to, don't they? And then to go on and come last in that same section and still qualify, I mean, what's the chance of
We
that?
should have put a rule in place at the start that can't happen. And knowing it we're going to be this guy, we probably would have, wouldn't we?
Ivan Marks always used to say, it's better to be lucky than good. And who was it?
It was Frankie Ganicelli. So
Spawny devil.
Well done, Frankie. Superb performance of drawing in that section that everybody else had qualified from. But if he'd blanked,
what would we do?
Oh, yeah. Can't. You've got to catch a fish, haven't you?
Absolutely got to catch a fish. So well done, Frankie, for catching a fish.
Well done, mate.
Brilliant. We know it'll be a danger in the final, though.
Yes, exactly.
He'll probably win it now.
He will.
Yeah. He'll probably win final.
Okay, enough taking the mick out of Frankie, poor bloke. Garbalino Silver League at Meadowlands. Good turnout for that, quality turnout for that.
Oh, it's an awesome field, Rog. This was the first one of the year as well, so everyone were excited and buzzing. And you look at the top three from that match, and we've just been saying before, awesome anglers, all of them. Were won by Steve Hemingray. He had £27 dead. He were actually on the little lake, Warren Pool. And I spoke to him on the phone this morning to find out I'd caught, and he said he didn't expect to catch because his peg were only 3 foot deep. It's quite a shallow lake anyway.
Yeah, it's not deep, isn't it?
But obviously, weather's been up and down.
And it was mild this weekend.
Yeah. But he's had an interesting match. He's caught some fish on pellets at 16 metres. So got himself well out of the way, fished long, feeding micros and fishing a 4mm expander on the hook, nice and simple. A lot of little skimmers, he says. You know, he's had a brilliant day's fishing. Most were just 6 ounce, 4-6 ounce fish.
A busy day then.
Oh yeah, lovely. And then his loose fed casters a little bit short of it at 14.5 metres. And caught really well on that later. A few more fish have come in. He's caught some roach on it. Sounds like he's had a lovely day's fishing there.
It sounds like most of them have. I mean, I noticed that I think there was only one section that wasn't one with double figures.
Yeah, and even that, well, at £8,
Yeah.
£7, £6. So everyone's had plenty of bites. But venue regular, Joe Roberts was second. He had £24.12. He were also on Warren Pool. And third place went to Darren Cox, who was on the big lake, Lambsdown, and he had £23.12. So lovely fishing. It's 10 minutes down the road from here, and I've never fished a match there.
We're going to have to get that sorted out.
Yeah,
we are.
big time.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, it's obviously good field there. So you win one there, you've done well.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Okay, well done, Steve. Right, Kennet and Avon Canal, the Census Commercial House League.
Yes, I couldn't believe it when I saw the results for this match. I had to look twice at the weights because I've not seen weights as big as this for the Kent and Avon for quite a while. It was won by Tom Moretti. and he had £20 12 ounce. Second place was an R. Randall. Now, we don't know who that is.
It's our Randall, isn't it?
Yeah, well, as Matt said, if it's R. Randall, he's obviously from Upton North.
That's it, it must be.
It's our Randall.
Well, he was second anyway. He had
18,
13, looking at the wrong sheet there. And third place was Mick Nowicki, he had £15 7. Winners on the team front were Preston Innovation Statues. They had 23 points on the day. In the overall stakes, though, Thatcher's lead, Bathampton are second.
But it's the B team that's leading.
Oh, the B
team.
team
The A team
lead.
that won yesterday, this weekend, they're third in the league.
So they're third, and the B team are in front then. It's
Good job it's not a C team, isn't it?
It's always dodgy, isn't it? I remember when we used to put teams in as Trentman, we used to do A, B and C. And we always used to try and do it in order of who you think could do better as your A team and then your B teams. And it never works out like you think. It's always very embarrassing. So we've gone for red, blue and yellow from now on.
No, we used to do Keynet Central and Keynet Central A if there were two teams in. Or then we changed to colours in the same way as you've done it.
Yeah.
Don't offend anyone then.
I think it's safer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tom actually caught on bread to start with, apparently. He started off on bread, put a few fish in the net on that, and then went longer on Bloodworm and Joker later for his weight. So got some nice skimmers.
I think Vince as well sent the results through. He sent the top 7 or 8, and they all had double figures down to like 7th, 8th place. I think £10 12 was 7th on the match, which is good fishing, isn't it?
That mild weather has been it's been very good for the natural venues.
Yeah.
Natural venues, canal, but no, it has been very good. I mean, it's been after the cold weather we had over the New Year. It's
I was expecting a very tough weekend this weekend. With a lot of places being frozen Wednesday, often the ice water going in is not good. But looking at the weights, it's not been too bad, has it?
No, been good.
I took the dog out for a walk midnight down our lane on Saturday night in just a sweatshirt. It was that mild.
Oh my lord.
Crazy. Okay, and the Partridge Lakes Individual Interleague.
Again, massive turnout for this one. I think there's 79 anglers booked onto the league, 74 turned up for the first round. And it were very difficult fishing, but very interesting. It looked very fair as well. Ben Summerscales took the lead. He won the first match with £59 7 ounces from Covey 6. I think he caught most of his fish dobbing. I spoke to Jake, who fished the match at weekend, and he said like a lot of the weights were caught dobbing from like corners or features, anywhere where a few fish were holding up. But I didn't know as well, what were quite funny, when I saw Ben's name, it says Ben Summer. And obviously, because it's quite a long surname, Scales.
It looks as though he's got the scales.
Yeah, and I didn't know if it were Ben Summer or Ben Summer Scales. Yeah, so.
We can confirm it's Ben Summer Scales.
Yeah, that's definitely right. Second, Steve Openshaw, ultra consistent partridge. He were also on Cobra 6, he had 46.10. Francis O'Reilly, third place from Willow. He had 46.6. Mickey Rogerson, fourth, 44.10. Gareth Gibbons, fifth, 42.3. And Steve Sherrock, sixth, with £40.11. So like I said before, you look at them weights and it's
been consistent. But
yeah.
I mean, it's interesting that you say they're quite low weights for partridge.
Yeah.
Lower than you would expect. But I mean, your point about places being iced over and that ice thawing, I might be wrong, but I've always felt it has more of an impact on the still water than it does on a water that's got some movement in it. I mean, even a canal with locks operating, or there's a bit of a fluid through our water. As far as I'm concerned, ice water going into a still water or melting on top of a still water can knock it on the head a lot more than elsewhere.
Definitely. I think it just sinks, doesn't it? And that's the problem, isn't it? Whereas at least if it's got movement, it mixes it up a bit.
I think that's really interesting as well, what you said, Roger, because I think natural venues respond to change. Like, I've been to Evesham before, and it's been middle of summer, and you've had a freezing cold rain shower halfway through a match, like hail, you know them fast storms that come, and like all the sewers, not sewers, but all the road water washes in and it drains in. And it colours up the river, and all of a sudden you start catching and you think, how can all that mucky, muddy, horrible cold water do it good? And it changes in minutes. But on a commercial, if it goes from freezing cold to suddenly warm,
they don't respond to change as well.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Really interesting.
So, no, decent weekend. Okay, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back to you, we'll be looking at the Tunnel Barn Farm Winter League and the surprise match on the River Witham. Welcome back. Okay, straight into the action again. Tunnel Barn Farm Winter League.
It's looked a good match considering what we were talking about with the conditions. Jamie Hughes won the match. He was on top full peg 15 with a weight of 65.14. But it was interesting. I was talking to Rob Perkins about this result. And apparently the peg where Jamie was, it's in some little bays on top bull. Traditionally it's not as good, but this year there's been a lot of fish moving in that area, so he's done really well to win the match from there, because normally it's not so fancied. Mark Malin was second off high pull peg 15, he had £63. And Mark Fox was third with £57.6 from Jenny's 18.
Been spread around in the weights, haven't
3 different legs there,
Yeah.
top 3, yeah.
It's brilliantly that. 100 odd anglers across all them lakes. You get good consistent fishing like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, this time there's always going to be the odd area that's not so good. But the main thing is I think it makes for a fairly fair and consistent team venue. Shakespeare Super Team won on the day.
There's a surprise.
They did ever so well. Match Fishing Drawbags was second and Map Bait Tech were third. And in the league stakes, that means that Map Bait Tech are still leading with 487. Greer was second with 463. Match Fishing Drawbags are hot on the tail with 447. So it's going to be quite an interesting last few rounds. In terms of tactics, from what I'm told, Jamie caught Dobbin, which you'd sort of expect given the cold weather we've had. But he caught Dobbin bread towards some dying lilies and he had a few fish later down the edge on maggots. So, good day.
Yeah, good match. Okay. Dywell Hallcroft, their Silverfish Open on the Moat and Croft.
I thought I'd get this one in, Rog, because Luke always sends his results through, and I says to Tom, I was reading through it, and obviously coming from Sheffield, it's about 15 minutes from my house, and I've never had a proper campaign at Hallcroft. I said to you know what, I've never been and fished a series of matches there. But you look at these Silverfish match results and they're brilliant. Ben Holmes won this particular match with 34.11. He caught skimmers on long pole, fishing maggots off a ground bait. Lovely day's fishing. Second place were Andy Oldham. He had 25.7. He fished pellets and caught some skimmers and then some roach on maggots as well. But I know Andy fishes a lot of them matches where he fishes bloodworm. And loads of times I've seen results where he's caught £20 a roach and stuff on bloodworm. And then third place was old Rughead, Ian Littlewood. I hadn't seen Ian for ages. They call him Rughead, or they used to. I bet he's bald now. He must be 70 or 80 years old now.
He's going up there, isn't he?
Used to have a thick mop of ginger hair. We used to call him Rughead. Ian Littlewood.
I wonder if we could call that now.
Rughead.
Rughead.
Yeah. Ginger. Mm.
£25 7 ounce old Rughead had. He caught on pellets as well. So, and down to fifth place, fourth Willie Hodgkinson, he had £24, and Arnie Palin were fifth with £22. So brilliant weights for a silverfish match. 30 odd anglers there, 34 anglers.
It's a nice setup, Paul.
Yeah,
I'm
it
actually surprised to hear you say that you never really had a campaign
I haven't.
It's never such a good setup.
Yeah, big place and all, big
Yeah.
open water lakes.
A lot of water there, yeah.
So I thought I'd get that one in there. Nice match.
I'll tell you what, I know, it hadn't changed, you know. Just thinking back, like, all the time I've been match fishing, I suppose about 15 years now, 14 years anyway. It's always had consistent results. It's always had a lot of anglers going.
Yeah.
Good turnouts. And it's one of few venues that still gets a few in the week as well. You know, the veterans get 40 and 50 on them sometimes.
Yeah.
So, brilliant venue, really.
You're spoilt for choice with commercials up your neck of the woods, I should say.
Yeah.
Okay, and you guys went to Lindholm.
Yes, it was the second round of our Natural Baits League. We had the first round just before Christmas, and that proved to be really good. But again, we were a little bit concerned about what effect the cold weather would have on the fishing. But as it turned out, it was quite a good match, wasn't it? It was won by Sean Cameron. He had £43.14. And I actually had a really good view of Sean because I drew on Laurels, and if I can just explain, a bit of a point here, and I'm here, facing into this bay, and Sean's here facing into a different bay. So, although he was on the next peg to me and did win the match, he wasn't actually anywhere near me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, but I don't believe you.
But he's caught feeding a mixture of swimstin green and swimstin black, just tapping some
when he's passing his pole back towards you and he's unshipping, were you ever tempted to nick a section? I think I'd have been.
I could have actually, yeah. There were three of us actually, because there was somebody else behind us who was sword fighting. I felt sorry for the bloke behind me, I kept making him jump, because he got his landing net pole coming back. When I shipped back, I kept knocking it by mistake. You can see him jump. Bless him. But no, he's
too much messing around, you see, not enough fishing.
That's what it was. I had a nice cup of tea as well, it was lovely. But no, Sean caught feeding a mixture of swimstin green and swimstin black and fishing maggots on the hook. So he's had a nice day there.
And you know that's true because you watched him do it.
Second was Craig Butterfield. He was on 33 on Laurels. He had 41-14.
Consistent bloke again.
Yeah, he's doing well in the league as well, Craig. He's got a section win in a second now,
Yeah.
so he's up there. And third place was Ryan Lidgard. He had £40.4 again from Laurels, peg 45.
And that were interesting. That was the one lake that everyone was worried about because we got a lot of pegs on it, and it was the best lake, wasn't it, on the
Top
day?
three, yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was a lot better.
There were decent weights from the other lakes as well, though, weren't there?
Yeah, Strip was won by Nick Speed, and he had a lovely net. You saw it, didn't you, Matt?
Yeah, I were on strip. He won our lake with £31. And obviously you'd think, he must have caught some F1s and that there. And he actually only caught one F1. He caught 8 big perch, 2 barbel, a tench, a few little skimmers and roach and stuff.
That definitely qualifies as a mixed
And
bag,
an
that.
F1. Oh, it was brilliant. I tell you what, it's a right wind-up and all. Well, that opposite in a bit of a corner to me. And he went next to Johnny Freeborn, who likes to play a few mind games when he's fishing. He gets into you. And Speedy were doing it to him, you know. He was like, when he'd hooked one, he might do it on his blog, but when he was shipping back, he was like, "Hello, Peter the Perch," talking everyone through it. And then he'd get it and he'd go, "Another small perch, John, probably 2 ounce. Badoosh." But he proper played mind games with you.
Excellent.
Brilliant. Loco was the toughest lake, unfortunately, on the day. That was very difficult on there. But, I mean, still £22 to win the lake, Paul Christie. And in terms of the league, it's, Paul Christie's up there. Craig Butterfield's up there. Sean Cameron's up there. We're not too far behind, though. We've got 2 seconds.
But Matt Pillay.
But Matt Pillay is the out-and-out winner. He's the only one on 2
Leader.
section wins. Yeah, leader.
Don't
Well, he's not going to win. We're
don't
going to
get
have
him
a
too
take him.
excited.
Yeah.
I must have won. Tom said it was true.
You should know not to trust me by now, surely.
One would hope so.
So he's leading. But we've got 5 rounds left, haven't we? So a long way to go.
And a nice little story that caught my eye to finish off the show. River Witham.
Yeah.
I saw this on Facebook last night, Roger, and I thought, and I know there weren't many people went. There were only about 10 of them went and had a little knock-up on there.
Lincoln lads.
Yeah, Alan Henry and John Small and all them. But mine and Granddad had a caravan at Torksey, so I've always had a little bit of interest in that area and the old match circuit and stuff. And I saw it, and I saw these nets of fish, and they've all caught plenty of fish. They went to Kirkstead, around Kirkstead Bridge, and they had a little knock-up. John Small won with 19-pounder. Roach and hybrids, a lovely bag of fish, some nice, them like silver bream with big eyes that they used to catch on Trent and that. He had a load of them. Dean Smith had 13, Alan Henry had £13, and £6 what lowest weight between them. But something that Alan Henry mentioned, I know you said the fish congregate around the bridge, he says that when they were packing up and at the end of the match, he had a good walk about and look, and he says there were fish topping everywhere.
Yeah, as I mentioned to you before we started filming, in the old Winter League days, there used to be matches up there with Lincoln and Kirkstead and the teams like that. I remember a couple of reports where there'd been team matches that sort of 20 people had caught, and the winning team had had somebody on peg 1 and peg 11, for argument's sake, and somebody had got on peg 2 and peg 12. And I think we had a situation where the first section had all caught, and then the next section the first 5 of them caught, and then sort of the 1 fish caught for the rest of the match then. And it was always a problem around Kirkstead Bridge. But when those fish spread out, and all it needs is a little bit of colour in the water, and they do tend to spread out. When it's clear, they ball up around the bridge, and the lower you drew, the better it always was.
Right.
Well, I bet you were on peg 1 every time, weren't you?
I didn't used to fish there in the winter actually. So I only ever fished with them in the summer when it was an eel venue.
Ah, yes, I've heard about that.
I used to enjoy that, but nice bit of water that is.
Looks lovely.
Okay, so well done to the Lincoln lads for trying that out. That's us done for another week, and we'll be back with more match news next Monday. Thanks for watching.